that mid lane jungle champion to just be as OP as he is. Purple team now considering what champions to ban out in this 4v4 matchup. Master Yi getting banned out, that powerful jungler with those Qs and that Feral Flare stacks. He just farms jungle so fast and will be doing a nice job of getting into team fights and making a lot of damage happen really fast. Dead Jesus, lol. Considering who next to ban out. Let me read through some people's names here, get a little bit familiar with them. As Xcentern X on blue team, Decot. And I'm lolling so hard. I love it. Zed banned out by blue team, that powerful champion being able to use his shadow clones to be able to bounce around the map, doing a lot of damage. Everyone knows and has seen the power of his jukes and outplay ability. For purple team, we have Soradai, Bandit 3288, Lexanon, and Kittiglu. With that champion. If you guys are watching and playing at the same time, feel free to post on your Facebooks and be like, look how popular I am. I am currently on a League of Legends Shoutcasting stream, which is pretty cool because a lot of people ask me for favors to be able to do this. But purple team, Kayle being banned out. That Kayle is very powerful both in the mid lane, top lane, jungle, wherever you take her. She is powerful with those amazing Q abilities, and then her ultimate being free every couple of seconds to be able to cast invincibility on an ally. Wukong being banned out by blue team, very powerful with those leap Q strikes, almost as powerful as Jax, who is also a very common ban in the ranked games. His invisibility being allowing Wukong to escape from a lot of bad situations. Vi being banned out by purple team, very classic champion to be banned out, especially in ranked games. Her ultimate ability to be able to leap in onto a ADC of the enemy team is extremely strong. Dead Jesus, wow! Picking up the Jax in replace of the Wukong, knowing how powerful those power Q strikes are. However, purple team deciding to pick up a J4, at least hovering over him for that jungle. It does look like we're going to have a solo in the top, mid, and bottom, and then of course having that jungle to be able to make any fight happen anywhere that jungle wants on the map. Sora D hovering over that Anivia pick. Have not seen Anivia in any game recently. However, it's always fun to watch, especially with that egg form, helping to be able to survive a couple different team fights as long as her team can keep her alive after she goes into the egg form. It does look like Sora D will be picking up that Anivia as well as Bandit 3288, which will be a lot of fun to watch these players and their champions. Decot picking up that OP Irelia as well as Xcentern X, going ahead and jumping on Draven. Blue team knew who they wanted and immediately locked in their champions that are really being very powerful in the top lane as well as during the mid and late game with her tank and damage ability. However, a nice counter to her is that Xin Zhao hovered by Lu. I'm just going to call you Lu with the passive heal. May instead actually be going for the Singed, getting a little bit of tank and having that ability power as well. Lexanon knowing that he's going to have to ADC solo against the Draven, picking up Lucian in the bottom lane. So it'll be interesting to see how these two line up, as Lucian has pretty good distance with the Q damage and his E. However, Centurn X on that Draven starting up a powerhouse with those flying axes. I'm lolling so hard, going ahead and picking up Morgana for that mid lane against the Anivia. Those snares going to be doing a nice job of keeping that Anivia from going anywhere when the situation is going their way. As long as you can land a Morgana snare onto an enemy champion, it is very likely that they will be dead if your team can follow up, especially with the Irelia and Jax that can leap in onto that target and then Draven damage following up. However, purple team is going to be extremely tanky with that J4 and Singed in the jungle and top lane, so it'll be interesting to see if the damage from that Lucian and Nivea can keep up with it. As for the prediction of who's going to win, I'm giving it to blue team because I think blue team has a really good setup with that Jax and Aurelia leap in, as I commented on earlier. But if it drags into mid to late game, purple team has an excellent job of or has an excellent opportunity of turning the game around, as they have some very tanky members who will also be doing damage in that late game. Though we just saw J4 in that last game go unkillable as he dominated both the jungle and every lane that he went to, going 6-0, so we know that J4 can be really powerful. But just earlier today we saw an Irelia as well, who was able to leap into enemy 1v3 and just destroy no matter what was occurring. So we got about 2 minutes left on the clock as we listen to some really nice Cell Dweller dubstep. I am going to go ahead and mention that this video will be available on YouTube, probably just with the name Shoutcasting for Custom 4v4. And I will be tagging all of the members in it with the username. If you are ever on my stream, I go ahead and put your username into the tagline. That way you can search your username and find yourself on YouTube later on. As well, the YouTube name, if you want to look it up, is the Trolltastic Duo. And so it will be lots of fun to see how those go. We are kind of burning a little bit of time here as we wait this last minute. So I'm going to run through everyone, their champion, really fast. And that way I can make sure I've got it for this game. Dead Jesus LoL taking that Lao Jax in the jungle. X Center and X on the Draven in that probably bottom lane. Decot in the top lane, Irelia. And I'm lolling so hard Morgana in the mid lane versus Anivia, Soradi. Picking up that mid lane Anivia. Bandit 3288 on the J4 in the jungle. Lexinon as that Lucian in the bottom lane against Draven, more than likely. Kicked Glue in the top lane versus the Irelia. That's really something that I'm interested in seeing how those two match up. Would be very cool to see. I've not seen a Singed picked into Irelia yet in quite some time, but it is always fun to be proven wrong as we get into the last couple seconds of the game. Simply Narwhals, thank you for sticking around, man. Good to have you continuing to join the stream and being here for the game. Hopefully it'll be more entertaining once the game actually gets underway, as we don't see where this is going. I do feel that there is a massive difference in viewer versus when I have my webcam up versus when I don't. I haven't had it up for the last 2 Shoutcasting streams, and there is a much lower view ratio versus when I do have it up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next time that I get it up. So this will probably be my last stream of the night. However, if you're interested in more intense streams, I do like 2v3 team fights or team games when I get special requests to do so on the weekends. However, this weekend I won't, as I will be in a wedding getting married. And then I will be off next week as I will be in the middle of Tennessee on my honeymoon, which will be a lot of fun. Big shout out though to Simply Narwhals for keeping it real and sticking around. The Mighty Jax. Beautiful skin by Dead Jesus Lao, Soul Reaver Draven, Frostbutt Irelia. That's her other name, is Frostbutt, not Frostblade, because Dat Ash is what I'm saying. Black Frost Anivia. Looks like you were on the wrong team. Needed to join the blue team in that mid lane, taking over from Morgana to have a full ice team there with that Frost Anivia, Frostblade Irelia. Soul Reaver Draven isn't really frost, but he looks icy. And then, of course, the Mighty Jax. I mean, he's got a hockey skin, for goodness sake. All of the ice. Very interesting choice by Singed taking that barrier. I guess he's expecting to do a little bit of tower diving, especially early game, when barrier is most helpful. However, even towards the late game, barrier can be helpful when you have a lot of members on you. Also, will keep him alive a little bit longer if that Morgana does decide to ultimate. I actually accidentally one time took barrier on Morgana and realized how powerful it was, as it is kind of like a mini Zanya's when you're using your ult early game, as well as you have the ult and You have the barrier and Zhonya's in the late game, so I think it'll be an interesting thing to see teams pick up. So I'm actually going to wait. Usually I go ahead and toss all the players into their correct positions or the lanes against each other, but I don't know where everyone's going so far, so I guess I'll go ahead and put the junglers on the bottom, and that way you guys can see how the junglers line up, and then everyone else will be top, middle, and bottom once it is decided. It does look like Lucian will be coming to this bot lane, as well as Draven going to be matching him. In that top lane, Aurelia is going ahead and heading up as Anivia is making her way towards the mid lane. So I do think that I predicted everyone in their lanes correctly. Looks like in that top lane, both players that will be starting that crystalline flask. So we'll see which player it actually works out more effect for. Where is my dad? Says J4. High on legal weed edibles in state of Colorado. Weed edibles are not legal in Georgia yet, so that won't be happening anytime soon. But nonetheless, it is fun to see how things happen. USA. Jack's throwing out a little bit of a chat there. Those look like Irelia and I think Jax making their way towards this bush right near red buff for purple team. So I think that blue might know that purple team is in those bushes. However, they're going to have a bad fight if they have to 3v2 them if they go in on it. Draven actually watching for red buff for blue team in that bottom lane. So he might be a little bit late towards grabbing some farm if things are going to go down. Lou and Bandit doing a nice job of starting off damaging this red buff. Sorry, trying to help out a little bit before pushing into the mid lane. Does look like nobody's going to be invading too far, and we're going to actually sticking around to grab, I think, another potion maybe before pushing down the mid lane versus this Anivia. A little bit of harass back and forth between the ADCs in the bottom lane, who are going to have to be very careful as they do not have a support to help them. Lou taking a little bit of a pat damage, but his poison doing a nice job of going to be doing a little bit more damage than Irelia initially does. There's a stun by Irelia onto Singed, but his passive is going to keep him up for a good while longer. In that bottom lane, Draven a little bit ahead in farm, but they've only had one or two waves pass through, so we're not going to see too much change. Does look like Irelia is losing out in the top lane by a little bit. Both players going ahead and using her crystalline flask. Irelia actually still has one more use on her flask, so might be able to last a little bit longer. Jack's actually really low health, but he doesn't care because he's jungling, and he knows that nobody's going to be around for a while to try to get him. Catch you later, Simply Narwhals. Nice to have you for the period of time you could stick around. So hopefully you did go ahead and throw a follow, and we'll be checking me out in the future. Anivia doing a nice job of throwing out a stun until I'm lolling so hard. Centrex taking a good bit of harass by Lexnad in that bottom lane there. The red buff is ticking on to Centrum, but he was able to get underneath the tower. Purple team decided to back off from that, but now Anivia might be in a bit of trouble. The nice snare by Morgana, who's taking a massive amount of damage from this Anivia. The power strike is down by the Jax. However, I don't think he was actually able to land it as he used his leap to get to Anivia and then went to power strike auto afterwards, but Anivia kept some distance with those boots, doing a nice job of getting out of that gank. Looks like Dot in that top lane has used all of her potions. There's a nice stun by Anivia onto Morgana, who's going to throw out the auto attack, or I think it was actually the ice crystal, to be able to pick up that first blood. Purple team picking up first blood. Only about 400 gold in the lead, however, as Irelia actually has more farm than this Singed in that top lane, doing a nice job of keeping farm up there. Singed actually going to go ahead and back, even though he only has 9 farm versus Irelia's now 20. Irelia Dash doing a really nice job of keeping her farming up there, while Singed, however, his poison being so passive, very difficult to actually time your auto attacks on minions until late game, when your poison does so much damage that it just eats down minions before the rest of the minions have a chance to respawn, which is why Proxy Singed is so powerful when you go straight AP on him. Centrum might be a little bit of trouble. J4 is coming down here for a third gank. There's the nice knock up. He does use his heal, however, to get out of that. The double auto attacks by Lucian will not be enough to take Draven down. But now purple team, having ganked 3 times, is getting a little bit of response as Jax has made his way down here. There's the spell shield by Morgana trying to escape what damage Nivea has. Lucian could be in a little bit. He does use his dash to try to escape from that Jax. However, in the top lane, Aurelius now chasing down onto the Singed. Did go ahead and use the slow onto him. He is, however, going to have that poison to back off. Don't chase the Singed. Lexington doing a nice job of getting a lot of damage down onto Jax, forcing him to back off in that bottom lane. Another stun going down onto Morgana by Sorority in the mid lane. Game has slowed down a little bit as people are realizing that maybe they should just farm it out a little bit. A couple of champions have backed here. Morgana did back and started what looks to be a catalyst, as she does have the health and mana crystal. So we'll see if she actually does build that later on. Oh my gosh, so little damage back and forth in that lane. I'm not exactly sure. I think that Lucian actually used heal and still lost that fight as the Draven axes were just way too powerful. Ignite going down onto Anivia. She does use a potion. That will probably keep her alive in that mid lane. However, she is going to have to back as that Morgana damage and threatening with that Q is going to be enough to cause her to back off. In the top lane, Aurelia now gaining a little bit of ground as she did not back and now has a lot more farm than Singed in the top lane. Singed doing a little bit of a toss on Aurelia, causing her to have to choke some poison, going ahead and using that last health potion she has in the top lane. But she does have double Singed farm in that top lane, which will be doing a nice job. When she does back, she'll have a lot of gold. Currently, with at 43 farm, she's actually sitting on about 1,400 gold, so she's going to have a lot of damage or tank, depending on how she chooses to build when she backs. Singed went ahead and backed and got his boots. In the bottom lane, however, Lucian was only able to get a Vamp Scepter, while Draven did pick up his BF Sword instead, so he is going to be doing more damage, but not going to be able to sing quite as well as Lucian with that Vamp Scepter in the bottom lane. The ult by Anivia doing a good chunk of damage to Morgana. She did throw down, I think, the spell shield on herself. No, there's the spell shield. She went ahead and is using the ultimate now onto Lucian, who's going to actually flash in one auto attack. A second auto attack will finish her off, though he took a lot of damage from the tower to be able to get those kills. Bandit in the jungle now, taking red buff to be able to get more ganks. However, he's going to get a lot of damage by that red buff. He does not appear to be going the Feral Flare route. Instead, he has started his Spirit Stone. So it'll be interesting to see which choice of the Spirit Stone options he has. Could be going with that Fist, though, which will be doing a nice job of getting him extra gold in the jungle, as well as going to be able to get that health tankiness that J4 needs if he's deciding to go the tanky route. They do have Singed, but Singed hasn't really built much yet, only having a mana crystal and some health pots and boots. It does look like Aurelia did back off and grabbed a Sheen with that extra money, so she's going to have a lot of damage every time that she uses an ability and following with that auto attack. Morgana did finish off the catalyst in that mid lane, so we'll be going ahead and starting to stack a lot of that late game mana and health. Jax actually trying to counter jungle, but as he went all the way to purple team's red buff and did not find it there. Does look like he will be coming top lane now, maybe considering jumping in onto the Singe. He does have his ultimate, but he has the ignite on him. Jax being there to help with that final damage, and really picking up that kill, which will help her snowball her lane even more, as she is already about 10 farm above Singe. Singe doing a nice job of turning that farm around, however. In the mid lane, Nivea a little bit above the Morgana, but will continue to farm better once she gets a lot of that mana for her ultimate, and she can just leave her ultimate ticking away on the enemy minions, clearing them instantly as time goes on. There she goes, grabbing up another, about 6 minions, I think. She actually grabbed all 6 minions in that mid lane. In the bottom lane, Draven damage doing enough that he is able to actually keep about 10 minions above Lucian so far. However, it will be interesting to see where that bottom lane goes. I need to stop saying will be interesting to see. there's a couple phrases that I use and I keep repeating. Being a single shoutcaster only, I don't have a whole lot of options. Those are things to say when action gets crazy, but we've kind of calmed down a little bit, so we can kind of chill out. Oh, and the music stopped, which is pretty terrible to deal with. Nivea actually going ahead and using a flash to escape from that leap strike by Jax in that bottom lane. There's a J4 ultimate onto Irelia. That poison tick was going, but not going to be enough as she does back out from that fight in that top lane. And everyone returns to relaxed farming. Looks like Lucian did come towards the mid lane to see if he could make any action happening. Last time he came in mid lane, he was able to get a kill on the Morgana. He might be able to get another one now. We can't see it, however, as in the top lane, they are tower diving this Irelia, using her ultimate to heal up on the Singed. However, Singed back off a little bit too far. Lucian actually missed his E and then stuck around to kill minions. I think he accidentally clicked on the minions, giving a kill to Morgana in that mid lane. I think she actually got a double kill from that. I'm lulling so hard. Oh no, Lexington actually killed I'm lulling so hard for the double kill. Okay. In the top lane, however, purple team taking the first tower. J4 doing a nice job of keeping Singed up there and progressing. Now coming into the mid lane to try to do a little bit of damage onto the Draven. A nice stun, massive distance by Anivia. Goes ahead and uses her ultimate. However, she doesn't have a whole lot as her mana is extremely low. I think Draven did have to force to use his flash. No, it was J4 forced to use his flash to get out of that, knowing that Draven lifesteal and that he has a Vamp Scepter is too much for him to handle. Lucian has not finished his Bloodthirster yet. Neither ADC has finished the Bloodthirster yet, as they are switching up instead for attack speed, and they have had the Dorans the entire time though, but they have almost mirror items at the moment other than a health potion versus a blue potion. Dead Jesus though jumping in from the sidelines, doing a little bit of damage before backing up to help taking the turret for blue team in the mid lane, now evening up those turret kills. Little close even on gold, only about 7k gold difference, with blue team actually above in gold now, doing a nice job of keeping that farm advantage. Draven does look like he is coming down towards the bottom lane. Lexington deciding he doesn't want too much from that. He will just let the minions take the tower as they slowly do. I'm looking so hard, doing a nice job of dodging the Anivia Q. However, she uses her spell shield to block that ice shard, as she then is able to back off, taking very little damage from that gank by J4. A nice stun going down onto her, and the Ice Crystal will do full damage. Lucian coming in with a dash and ultimate, trying to finish off the Morgana once again. However, he's backing off from this, taking a little bit of tower shots. The double auto attack going down onto Jax now. If that stun lands, that Morgana is dead, and Nivea actually picking up that kill. However, Lucian may be dead as he is trying to dodge Irelia ultimate. And that is not going to happen as he does get killed. Shot in the back, being finished off by Irelia. In that bottom lane, Draven actually backing off, not able to take the tower, but in the next wave or two might be able to. He is a good 30 farm above this Lucian. Lucian does have some more kills, but also Lucian's 4 deaths are not going to be very helpful in turning this game around for purple team. Blue team actually is still picking up a little bit more gold as the game progresses. That will actually help them a lot, as they are now about 1.5k gold above purple team, now taking the lead in tower kills. Don't have to have the lead in deaths as long as you're leading in gold and objective points. Dead Jesus LOL doing a nice job of letting I'm lolling so hard grab blue buff. But actually, I guess not. There was a ward by purple, so I think purple team was able to grab that blue buff from blue team when I was not paying attention. And so neither Morgana nor Jax was able to pick that up. Spell immune Morgana not taking any stun, however, going to get the full effect of the ice shard onto her, as she does have to back off from that. Enemy doing a nice job of throwing down wards, so that she's going to have vision in case Irelia ever comes back. Singe going ahead and using his ultimate just to help him pump out some poison against the enemy team here. He is level 9 against Irelia's level 10. Irelia having about 10 farm up on him. However, as he continues to progress down this lane, he is going to gain his farm back a little bit faster than this Irelia. The Ignite is down onto Singe, which is going to hurt his healing by a little bit. However, that flip will do a nice job of keeping Irelia off of him. And now he does use his Ghost to be able to chase down, throwing out a nice barrier. There's the poison onto Irelia. Will be enough. Flip kind of tosses her in the air. And that is a kill for Singe, doing a nice job of keeping Irelia around just long enough. The poison damage is able to kill her. That is now a 7th kill for Purple Team as they are continuing to push heavily down. And Nivea doing a nice job of farming up. Now 78 farm, about 10 above Morgana, turning things around, as Morgana was the one early game that had more kills, but now Nivea has it with that use of her ultimate. Both members actually finishing off of a nice Rod of Ages, as well as Rod of Ages being picked up by Singe. So there's going to be a lot of tanky AP champions when it comes to the late game. Morgana actually using that spell shield to block the Ice Shard from Nivea. However, did still take a good bit of damage from that stun and that ultimate, ticking away on her in that mid lane. Looks like Purple Team is collecting together for a hard push in down the mid lane. Another nice ultimate coming out. Morgana actually flashing while J4 was in mid-air, being able to escape his ultimate, but now Lou in a bit of trouble as the tower did do a lot of damage onto him. The knockup by J4 actually keeping Irelia from grabbing that kill as she was chasing him. Draven trying to use his ultimate as well to kill the Singe, but it is not going to happen, as Purple Team is able to back off from that, doing a little bit too much tanking of the tower in that mid lane. Center and X now in that bottom lane, farming up with those minions, continuing to push that lane. He has been able to grab that first tower so he can farm without too much fear, knowing that he can back off to his own tower down there. Jax continuing to farm up the jungle, sitting at a nice 71 farm versus J4's at only 49. Blue Team are looking at picking up their first dragon of the game as they are grabbing it. J4 is down there, however. Singe in that top lane now, trying to do his best to keep from dying against this Irelia, as well as taunt her underneath the tower now. The poison is on her. Is that tower and poison enough damage to actually kill her? J4 actually stealing the dragon from Blue Team, which will help them a lot. Flashing out just before Draven's last axe goes down. Lucian actually dashing into a Morgana snare. That Nivea snare, oh my gosh, keeping Jax in between the freaking wall, keeping him saying that is going on the YouTube channel. Amazing job. And Nivea doing a beautiful job of also picking up a kill on that Lucian, now getting a nice stun onto Morgana. I don't know if that spell shield will be enough as J4 jumps in with that ultimate, and that Nivea will pick up yet another kill with her ultimate, sitting inside of J4's ultimate on the Morgana. J4 hashtag worth in that bottom lane. Beautiful, beautiful wall by Nivea, crushing Jax against the wall in the game, keeping him from going anywhere. That was worth this entire game just to watch that wall. Purple Team now almost evening up the gold. Blue Team only about 400 gold in the lead. Blue Team now with an additional 10 kills to the 8 kills by Blue Team. Was kind of a bloodbath down there, but Nivea did come out in the lead. She still has 0 deaths, 404. Has finished a Rod of Ages, as well as is now working towards that Archangel staff. Singe going ahead, tossing Irelia back a little bit, giving her a little bit of poison damage. He is going to continue to try to farm up those minions with that poison. This Rod of Ages is going to be doing a nice job. The snare by Morgana does go down onto the Nivea, who is going to take a bit of damage. Looks like Lucian just decided to tank the tower. A nice wall by Nivea, going to be keeping those minions as well as Morgana off of Lucian for at least a little bit longer. Jax coming in the stun way too early, not able to get that jump in. The slow by Irelia not really doing anything, as Singe is going to speed his little ulting self out of the dangerous harm's way. Sorry. Luxanon now following with his teammate J4 towards the bottom lane. I think they are looking for this Draven. They might be able to find him as he is farming that right there. He does look like he's going to back off now towards that bush. It's kind of hard to chase somebody, especially when you can't see them. J4 might be able to find him, though. Draven is going to try to fight this one out, though. He does have a lot of damage, having finished off a Bloodthirster and another BF sword. J4 taking a lot of damage, but that Singe is beautiful timing, jumping in with that flip. But even with that flip, he can't stop Draven from throwing out his ultimate, grabbing a nice kill onto J4. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in with here. Draven doing a nice little taunt there onto J4. J4 going a little too hard, especially as he does not have enough tanky items to finish off the game, or finish holding Draven for long in his ultimate. Sorority now going ahead and using her ultimate on that bush, knowing that Aurelia was in there but not wanting to dive too far, throws out the Q, but that is not going to travel far enough to land a stun on Aurelia, who is going to be able to back off without too much problem. Lucian in that bottom lane getting a good bit of farm on those minions, but now Jax is here and might be able to stop these minions from being able to get this tower. Lucian deciding, hey, maybe it's safe to just back off and come back later for it. 11 kills to 9. Purple team in a lead of kills and tied it up actually in gold. Both teams now sitting at about 26,400, 500 gold. Doing a good job of keeping their teams even though Purple team is in the lead in kills, but kills alone. Javen actually going to give this blue buff over to Anivia, knowing that Anivia with that ultimate could use that for sure, allowing himself to back off and just go for some other minions. He did grab mobility boot, so he is going to be able to get around this map very quickly. League of data, still waiting for him to respond with what the rest of it was, but I guess he is going to keep that to himself, and we're not going to be able to see that. 22 minutes in, number of heavy items coming out here. Does look like Lucian has started his Trinity Force with those first two builds going towards it. Looks like Draven is going for that Infinity Edge, as he does have the BF Sword, Pickaxe, and Negatron Cloak. Dekot in that top lane, just pushing down hard and grabbing that tower. Now a third tower for blue team. Every time the purple team turns the corner, they've grabbed another tower. Blue team has. Dekot now in a bit of trouble as the ultimate by J4 is there. Decided to go ahead and use that flash to get over the wall. Might try to get out of the situation by leaping to somebody. There she can. She can't leap to those minions. The poison damage is real, however. Nivea actually going ahead and using a flash, and you're going to have that Q ultimate, even if the Q did not give out the stun, was there. Lucian now turning and grabbing a nice kill on Morgana. I think he found her in the mid lane and chased her down before turning around and using his culling on the Jax, causing Jax to have to back off from that fight. Draven, however, in that bottom lane, pushing down on those towers. There's a nice Q. Jax has used his ultimate. Looks like Lucian is chasing down, is going to grab that kill with his E before having to escape that tower's range. I guess turning towards that top lane, grabbing some minions before now pushing in onto that tower. Draven, however, pushing down on the bottom tower, and Nivea with the ultimate to stop Draven from pushing in as best as she can. Getting off a nice stun onto the Draven. Massive amounts of damage. There's the ultimate and the heal actually used by Draven, or ultimate by Anivia, and heal by Draven. Gonna have to back off from that. However, he is sticking around, healing up with his BF sword on those minions. Gonna try to keep himself alive long enough to push this tower. No, he is gonna back off from that in that bottom lane. Anivia doing a nice job of keeping that tower alive. Draven going ahead and grabbing himself a right before considering backing off. He actually had to stop his animation of the backing to be able to grab another flying axe before continuing to back off. I do think blue team pinged a dragon. They did get the first dragon and could get the second dragon. However, purple team grabbing up those two towers is going to allow them in that top lane, is going to push them just a little bit in the lead, about 300 gold above blue team. But that little gold difference could mean that this game is going to be going on for quite a while now. 24 minutes in. Dead Jesus, lol. going ahead and starting this dragon. Jax being able to solo it pretty well, but very thankful for the Morgana help coming up here. And Nivea is there, going ahead and throwing out the Q, which means Morgana is not going to be able to defend against the damage with that. The calling is out by Lucian, however, a good bit of it's going to miss. He actually misses with the E, not going to give him a speed boost. Morgana do a nice job of getting off her ultimate in the bush, and that is going to be a kill on Lucian, who just went a little bit too hard. Nivea do a nice job of stunning that Morgana, who is pretty low health. If this fight does continue, she might be out of it. But they know that Irelia is now coming in here. Nivea kind of throwing off a blind Q there and throwing up the wall to be able to get out of this. I don't think Nivea has actually been taken down to egg form yet in this game. Amazing Nivea play by far. Blue team looks like they're going to be pushing down mid lane. Purple team pinging that second tower, saying we need to defend this from blue team. Keep them from pushing in down here, or in the middle here. Couple new items springing out here as Lucian has finished off his Trinity Force. Looks like J4 will be looking for that Sunfire cape with that Giant's Belt and Chainmail. For Sin, she does have that Rod of Ages finished quite a while ago, and looks like he's going to be going for a Rylai's to be able to get those slows onto the enemy with that ticking poison. J4 might be in a bit of trouble, though. He was able to maybe get blue buff from Morgana there. If he could steal it, his ult is down onto Irelia. Yeah, he did actually, because no one else has blue buff here. He was able to grab that blue buff from Morgana, doing a nice job of getting it. Singed poison there enough to grab that kill onto Irelia. Now it looks like Draven will be trying to fight it against this Lucian. However, a nice flash or dash will put Lucian behind Draven and keep Draven's ultimate from doing the damage that it could. Purple team considering pushing down onto this tower in that bottom lane as the mid tower is already down. Why would you need to keep pushing that when we can grab this other free tower down here in the bottom lane, knowing the blue team has a while before they can get back to it. Sortie having played an excellent game so far now, 6-0, while on blue team, Jack continuing to try to make some of these fights happen for his team. There's a nice stun onto I am lulzing hard by Sortie once again, just doing a beautiful job with those Qs, throwing down the wall, keeping the enemy from getting there too close. Looks like we could have a fight in this blue team blue buff jungle as members of both teams are collecting. Bandit 23 has backed off from the tower, but Lucian going to go ahead and recall here in the river. Bandit actually in a little bit of trouble. The slow is down by Irelia. Goes ahead and uses her ultimate with the slow, or with the ignite combination, to do a lot of damage to Jarvan and get that kill. And Nivea, knowing that there could be massive amounts of damage there, so going ahead and using her flash with a beautiful flying animation, coasting animation afterwards. Dead Jesus LoL farming up the jungle really fast, taking off blue buff off of Purple's team's hand, as he is now doing a good job of throwing wards down there, as blue team is trying to keep in this game. They actually have taken advantage of the gold once again, now 100 gold above Purple team, even though Purple team once again has a lot of those kills in the lead. It is a major point that even though you are 5 kills down, if you have that farm advantage, you can still win the game. Blue team has taken both dragons that have been available in the game so far, and Purple team, actually no, I lied. J4 did do a nice job of stealing that dragon from blue team, so they are 1-1 on dragons. But just because you're down 5 kills doesn't mean the game is over, as both teams have evened it up. Purple team does look like they're collecting here towards Baron, waiting to see if blue team will get baited into a fight here. There's the nice dash by J4. The flash by Draven is used, but J4 ultimate is down as well. I think his ultimate will actually be up before the flash is up for Draven, so that could count as a win for Purple team. All 4 members of both teams now here in the middle. J4 throwing out a nice little dash to see if he could hit anybody, but Morgana ultimate is down onto the J4. and that damage by the entire blue team with that burst is going to be enough to knock J4 out of the fight immediately, as blue team now is trying to progress down onto the rest of the team, but Lucian's there with the damage onto Irelia, grabbing a nice kill. Anivia trying to stay back and get that CC done. The culling by Lucian just doing so much damage onto Draven. You're going to grab that kill real fast. So that is currently 2 kills for 1. 3 kills for 1 as purple team picks up another kill. Anivia sniping Morgana from a distance and grabbing themselves a tower. So huge win for purple team, launching them back into the winning position as they are going to be pushing down onto blue team's base here, considering maybe backing out as they are pretty low. Jax coming in here could mean a lot of deaths here, as he could try to get a triple kill on this team. Lu now pushing forward with that poison. Lexanon doing a lot of damage to this tower, having finished up with the Bloodthirster and a Triforce. Now jumping in onto the Jax, so that might be its doom. Even with the heal, not going to be able to keep him alive from that power attack. And that means that Jax will get double buff off of that. Aurelia now trying to chase in, goes ahead and gets the stun onto Anivia. This might be Anivia's first death of the game. She is going to continue using her ultimate. She is down in egg form, but blue team will be there for the kill, shutting down Anivia. 7-1. First death at 31 minutes into the game, only making this game far more intense. Purple team now trying to collect themselves as blue team pushes hard down. Blue team having done a nice job picking up those kills, and now going to try to get a tower off of them, as 2 members of purple team are still waiting to come back up. The 2 damage dealers, they do need to try to do a better job of keeping themselves alive. The J4 ultimate are going to lock Aurelia in underneath the tower, doing a nice job not attacking J4 to keep that tower off of her. However, the rest of the team will be there to finish off the tower. Draven damage enough, but now Lucian's here with the culling, going ahead and using it, actually grabbing that kill off on Jax, and now going to be coming in trying to do damage onto Centurion. Aurelia is there with the damage though, gonna be picking off 2 kills for herself on both Singed and Lucian, not expecting the damage dealing Aurelia to come in with that ultimate and those massive damage Qs. Sortie going ahead and throwing down the ultimate to keep this wave off of the tower in the mid lane, as purple team is trying to do their best, or as blue team is doing their best to continue to push and push hard, evening up the gold. But now they're going to get a lot more as they go and do Dragon here. I don't think purple team has the ability to contest at this point in time. Culling already back up for Lucian, except that he is dead, so that means he is going to be unable to use it. Lucian picking up a nice Infinity Edge for himself, but Draven also picking up one for him. Last Whisper being finished by Draven. In addition, he has started a Vamp Scepter for something else, maybe a Static Shiv, so we'll see where that builds into. Borg being finished by Jax, meaning he is going to have a lot of damage as the game progresses. Banshee's Veil being finished by Aurelia as well, which is going to stop a lot of that stunning by Anivia, as that Banshee's Veil is going to be available every couple of seconds, and heal Aurelia every time that she gets damaged, I think is how it works. So when you take damage, you get a little bit of a boost in regen. And I have to brush up on my Banshee's Veil knowledge, as well as Aurelia finishing off a Trinity Force. Trinity Force being picked up by Jax as well. That is massive, both teams. I think J4 is actually able to grab that blue buff again from this Morgana. The Ignite doing a nice job of ticking down. That red buff should be enough to finish off the Morgana, but now J4 is in a very tight position, being killed by both the Jax and Aurelia. Singe going ahead and backing off from that. Don't think his poison was supposed to be off, but it is off nonetheless. Did burn the Jax ultimate, so we'll see if that is back up by the time the purple team gets into another fight. Lu doing a bit of warding here, trying to make sure that he has vision in case blue team decides to invade their camps, leaving that red buff for J4 once J4 does come back up in 20 seconds. Game has slowed down a little bit as both teams are a little bit shy of getting into a fight without their teammate there with them. About 700 gold. Blue team in the lead over purple team. Both teams trying to do a good bit of farming here to get the last couple of items to finish off their full builds. Morgana pushing out that bottom lane, keeping the waves pushing in blue team's favor. However, purple team is now collected in the mid lane and looks to maybe be going for this Baron. The ward by blue team did actually go down, so blue team has no vision of purple team currently on this tower, or on this Baron, but maybe suspecting something, they are going to be pushing slowly out. No, it looks like they will not be going for the Baron. Purple team may be able to grab this Baron before blue team even notices. There we go. Draven, expecting a little bit of foul play, goes ahead and throws out the ultimate just to see if they are there, and indeed they are, but it is too late as purple team has picked up the Baron, which is only fair because they are purple and the Baron buff is purple, so it only complements their colors better. It does look like all 4 members of purple team will be pushing down this mid lane. However, they can't stay for too long as their minions are pushing, but the inhibitor is free for the picking as Lucian is here for the auto attack damage. Lot of damage now as Morgana ultimate is on 2 of purple team's members, Singed and J4, the tanky members. They're going to have to sacrifice themselves as Aurelia actually grabs up another kill on the Lucian, and they're going to be able to grab another kill on this Anivia, grabbing themselves a full ace for that one inhib. Purple team did have Baron, but they just went too hard, and with that Morgana ultimate, CCing 2 of the members, as well as J4 not being there to protect the ADC, that was a dead Lucian as Aurelia just went hard on him with those stuns, being low health, and now blue team is going to be advancing hard onto this tower. Bork on that Jax is going to allow him to just take out this tower without too much problem. No need for minions. I've got this tower by myself. The rest of the team doing a nice job of helping out though. Grabbing an inhib as well. Blue team doing a nice job of efficiently making use of that full team ace as all purple team members are finally now coming up. That might be another tower for blue team in that top lane. There he goes. They did grab a second tower. Purple team now finally grouping together, are going to be able to try to stop this, the destruction of their base. 21 kills to 21 now. Draven starting that minion, but then realizing he wants to leave purple team not having that red buff for a while longer yet. Blue team, even though they evened up the kills, now a good almost 4k gold in the lead over purple team, which does mean they have a lot of gold and item advantage and could finish off this game in the not too distant future. Draven did start a second Bloodthirster, or did finish a second Bloodthirster, so we'll have a lot of lifesteal and damage as the game goes on, up to almost 300 minion farm versus Lucian at about that 260 mark. A lot of farm by both teams have played excellent jobs so far, trying to make this game close out as they push in. Inhibitor did come up for blue team already, as purple team is trying to collect and keep that minion wave from pushing onto their base. 38 minutes into the game, death timers are getting really long now, and Nivea finally finishing off a nice Zanya as we'll be able to keep her alive during team fights if that Morgana ultimate does hit her. I'm surprised the Banshee's Veils aren't being picked up by purple team, as those Morgana and snares and ultimates will be doing a lot of CC if you don't have those Banshee's Veils on the get-go. Does look like purple team will be trying to advance once more down the mid lane. Blue team going ahead and pinging for it. No, purple team actually instead deciding maybe to back off and get this dragon instead. A little bit of a vision there being picked up by purple team. They do have wards down to keep an eye on blue team's advancements. Blue team does not know that they are at that dragon. Dragon almost down. Grab it just before Morgana throws her blind Q across the map. There we go, the J4 ultimate is down onto Draven. The damage is real, and Draven is down as Morgana will be able to get a double stun on purple team before J4 gets a nice knockup on Morgana, getting a double kill. As Lucian is sitting in the mid lane, going to be grabbing up a bit of that lifesteal in the farm as they now push down having knocked out 2 of the members of blue team, the purple team is going to be able to get this inhibitor. Jax and Aurelia trying to make their way back towards this tower, and my kitty cat making her way over to me and saying hi. Hi, Tuffy. Nice stun there by Jax onto the Lucian. He's going to do a lot of damage. However, Jax in a bad situation, as both J4 and Anivia are going to be doing a lot of damage. They have been able to finish off Singe, though. Aurelia going hardcore, grabbing another kill, and maybe trying to finish off this Anivia as well. Anivia did not get the Zhonya's off, unless she used it earlier. I don't think that Zhonya's was down, though. Yeah, that Zhonya was available for Anivia, but she did not use it. The damage of Aurelia being real, as she does now have finished a Bork to her name in addition to that Triforce. So going to be doing a lot of damage as the game progresses further. Purple team inhibitor going to be up soon, as they now have countered, having taken an inhibitor of their own. But someone's going to have to push another lane here. Blue team in the advantage with 7 towers to 6 towers by purple team. So they do have a little bit of an advantage there, as blue team does have an extra tower in that bottom lane. However, if purple team grouped together, they could probably get it with the damage that Lucian deals, having picked up now a nice Last Whisperer and a little bit of armor to try to deal with Aurelia and that burst damage. Centrum picking up blue buff here. Morgana's died the last 2 times that she tried to get blue buff, so they sent Draven to pick it up, making sure that at least somebody can get that blue buff and make use of it. Couple pings coming out here. Looks like Baron does know the timer on, purple team does know the timer on Baron. It has about 40 seconds as they collect towards it, going ahead and throwing down some wards, but Lucian might be discovered, going ahead and using a dash, not wanting Aurelia to even possibly get a jump in on that. Nice sweeping lens by Singe, going to take out that 1 ward by blue team. However, blue team may be available to progress and get another couple wards down as they start to collect. However, if the Morgana does not get there soon, that is going to be a 4v3 fight. Purple team does not know. The nice stun going down onto Lucian. Does try to dash himself out of the way. Throws down the calling, but it is not going to find any target. Aurelia not getting squished up against the wall, even though she was stunned by Anivia having those ultimates. A lot of focus now onto that Aurelia. The Zhonya is now by Anivia, trying to keep her alive, but all 3 members of blue team will be there. Sin's just not being very effective as he is trying to get in. Finally, the poison damage being enough to kill Aurelia, but now he's in a tight spot, going ahead and throwing out a nice slow onto the enemy team as he is going to back off from that, using the Randuin's Omen to keep himself alive. But in that 3v4 situation, 2 members of purple team went down almost a third. J4 not being there for that fight. I think he actually backed just as the fight erupted, and so he wasn't able to be there for that fight. Looks like blue team will now be able to get this tower, or get this Baron, unless J4 is able to smite at the last second. He is not, however, and now he's in a bad situation. The ultimate from Morgana is used, and that is a dead J4. Morgana throwing out a Q there to be a little happy as they were able to get that kill on J4 and Baron buff. So it looks like blue team is pretty heavily in the lead now, going ahead and backing, finishing off a couple more items here. The Leandria's Torment being started by this Morgana. Could see a surrender here maybe in a bit, unless purple team gets a really nice ace or triple kill on blue team. Blue team would have to go really hard underneath these towers to make something happen. However, Jax is very powerful, now having a Spirit Visage as well with that help, and so he is going to be able to tank a tower with no problem. Dragon, is up in a minute, and I do believe that purple team was the last one to take it, which is 2 dragons on purple team to 1 on blue team. So we'll see which team decides to run for it now. That is 5k health on the Singe. Massive amount of health as he has finished that Rod of Aegis really early on and now started that Spectral Cloak. What is that called? Spectre's Cowl. I apologize. Anivia has picked up that Rabadon's death cap, so we'll be doing a good bit of damage, as well as J4 taking a little bit more of the damage route with that black cleaver. Anivia going ahead and throwing down that ultimate to try to keep those minions off of that tower, or this inhibitor, as long as possible. Going ahead and throwing out a nice stun. J4 actually going ahead and using his jump combo over the wall, not wanting blue team to find him out. Chunks of damage being taken out of Singe as Draven is able to land some of those long-range axes. However, the fight is starting now as Jax, spell immune, does leap in. Looks like Purple Team may get the inhibitor over. The culling is out, doing massive amounts of damage to Jax. The Singe is really low health as the fight continues to bounce back and forth. Neither team really wanted super hard, and as blue team continues to try to poke down a lot of damage onto this inhibitor. And now the fight is going to go hardcore as Draven is instantly picked off by Anivia. However, Jax is able to get in there and grab that kill on Singe. J4 coming in with that ultimate, locking in both Morgana and Jax, who have to flash out of that. Nivea actually using her ultimate to pick up the kill onto Aurelia. J4 really low health, but not caring, continuing hard onto Morgana, as Lucian actually was able to chase down and grab that kill on the Jax. Now, Purple Team is going to have to make really good use of this with this almost 60 seconds on the Morgana, and another, very close to 60 seconds on the Jax. A lot of seconds to be burned here as Lucian makes his way down the mid lane. He should be able to get this inhibitor at least, no problem, even without minions. Draven has only about 20 seconds left, followed up with really about 30 seconds. Lucian actually might not be able to get the inhib as he is having trouble with these minions here. There we go, he does get the big minion down, so we'll be able to auto-attack that tower down. Now going ahead and using some of his abilities to finish it. However, Draven is up in 2 seconds, so he will back off from that. Purple Team should now immediately go and get this dragon before Blue Team can collect themselves and push for it. Instead, it looks like Lucian may be considering going for that bottom tower. No, okay, he is going to go around here. Nivea went ahead and started the dragon. She does have double buffs, so it's going to be extremely powerful. Both members actually picking up Guardian's Angel, which means this Nivea has a lot of chances to stay alive. She can use her Zanyas and then turn into an egg, and then Guardian's Angel. She will be sticking around a long time, and when a team fight does break out, that actually knocks her down for the first time. 29 kills to 29 kills. Blue Team still in the lead by about 3k gold, which means that they still have a very strong chance of winning this, as both teams continue to kind of bounce back and forth these inhibitors in the mid lane. Neither team able to actually capitalize off of the inhibitors that they do take down. Both inhibitors are down currently for both teams. However, Purple Teams is the first one to go down, so we'll be back up shortly, as we are now reaching the 50-minute mark in this game between these two teams, 4v4. I think that it's actually due to the fact that they don't have fifth members is why the game aid one of your lanes, one or another. There goes the Baron timer up in about 2 minutes. I believe Blue Team was the last one to get it. Both teams have had a chance with that Baron, and neither team was able to actually do a whole lot off of it. Purple Team now running through the jungle here as a 4-man team. They might be able to catch somebody out. J4 actually going ahead and using his ultimate on the Jax, which isn't going to help a lot, as he is able to just leap out of that. Nice load being put down onto both Singed and Lucian. Lucian has the damage and is trying to get it in onto Centrix. Went ahead and used the culling, doing a lot of damage. That Draven might be out of here immediately with the poison damage. However, Morgana does have like a 4-man ultimate. Going to be stunning a lot of Purple Team's members as Aurelia is trying to get in here. However, Lucy was able to pick up that kill on Aurelia. That's going to be a lot of shutdowns as he also finishes off Morgana. He might be able to actually get a quadra kill. No, as Jax did back off far enough, Lucian was not able to get that kill. But it could have been an extended quadra kill as he was able to pick off almost every member of Blue Team. Blue Team now with another inhibitor under their belt, pushing hard. They still have not matched the gold. Finally getting close to matching the gold, but this might be game as these 60-second timers are extremely long for Blue Team. A nice toss by Singe will actually keep his team from being stunned as Lucian did back off. almost no help on that Lucian, as Jax was able to jump in there, almost finishing him off. However, his Guardian's Angel was there, so he would have lived through that nonetheless. But a beautiful job by Lucian grabbing that last kill. An excellent game all around, a lot of fun to shoutcast. This one is definitely going on my YouTube channel for a lot of people to watch, and a great number of highlight moments in that. MVPs really fast before I get off for the night. Losing team was blue team, so I'm going to go ahead and MVP. I'm going to give it to the Jax. I really went in and got a lot of kills, but Jax is actually able to set up a lot of those kills with his stun. Even to that last moment, he was almost able to, in a 1v3 situation, get down Lucian, at least his Guardian's Angel. And even in major team fights, he was able to stay alive, having tied with Draven the least number of deaths on his team. Draven just not able to get in all of the damage in the long term to be able to hold up in those team fights. For purple team, beautiful job by everyone, but easily, hands down, given to the Anivia. Jarvan did an amazing job. Shout out to Jarvan for all of those beautiful leap ults, as well as those flash leap ults. Just flying him across the screen to be able to lock down an enemy team member and hopefully get a kill for his team. But Anivia went 7-0 before finally being taken down by purple team. Struggled for a little bit and then came back in the late game, having that damage and the Zhonya's to be able to keep her alive in those team fights. Great pickup on that Zhonya's to keep her alive with that Morgana ult, which is playing against the enemy team's strengths when you can do that. She did have that, she knew that that Morgana ult was actually screwing her team and her over a lot, and so went ahead and grabbed that Zhonya's to keep her alive. So beautiful job by both teams. Amazing job shoutcasting.